Coastal Carolina University President Dr. Micheal Benson has been named the new president of West Virginia University. I talked one-on-one with Dr. Benson for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Coastal Carolina University President Dr. Micheal Benson, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Always great to be with you, Quintin. Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, I appreciate it greatly. Needless to say, you are making some news, good news, of course. It was just reported a couple of weeks ago from WBTW that you actually will be the next president of West Virginia University. In fact, it was confirmed just a few weeks ago because you were one of the 10 finalists for the job before the list was actually whittled down to 3 people, and the West Virginia Board of Governors voted 15-2 to hire you to replace Gordon Gee, who's actually retiring. So let me ask you this, Dr. Benson. Where are you emotionally right now?
We're going to start off with an easy question, Quintin. Emotionally, it's kind of a roller coaster of feelings. On the one hand, these have been the most rewarding 4.5 years professionally in my career in South Carolina. We made wonderful friends. We're keeping our house here because my children argue that this feels more like home than anywhere we've lived. And we love being by the ocean, so we'll have a place to come back to. And then on the other hand, it's also a wonderful opportunity, one that I've really wanted my entire 30-plus year career in higher education. And that is an institution that has kind of 3 components. One, an R1, meaning a research and development portfolio that is north of it's nearly $300 million they do annually in research at West Virginia University. Number 2, a school that's in what we call a Power 4 conference. They play athletics in at the highest level in Division I in the Big 12 conference. And number 3, a school with an academic medical center. And I spent Saturday in Morgantown touring their facilities up there, and they have a $7 billion budget just for their health sciences operation. So it's a big, big part of the university, and it has a huge positive impact on the entire state. So this was an opportunity that I really felt like I couldn't turn down, with some regret that we're leaving such a wonderful place. But as I said, we hope we come back here often.
And Dr. Benson, when you were obviously in Morgantown to tour West Virginia University, what else was going through your mind at that particular moment?
Yeah, I think, one thing that kept coming up is how excited I am for the opportunity, but how big a job it is. I mean, it's, by comparison, our budget here at Coastal is about $350 million. We have roughly, 11,200 students, 11,300 students. They have close to 30,000 students. So it's a big place, but I also have confidence that I can put together a really good team. It's in a state that is in many ways contracting in terms of its population, which is the polar opposite of what we have here in Horry County, where people are just flooding in to move here. Yes. And that poses some unique challenges in terms of recruiting students. But they also have, medical schools, I mentioned, pharmacy schools, professional schools, a law school, PhD programs, and engineering, neuroscience, you name it. So it's a pretty sophisticated place that it's going to take me a little while to, I think, get my arms around everything. But I'm really, really excited about the opportunity. And I'm succeeding Gordon Gee, who is 81 years old, whom I've known for probably the last 30 years of my career, who's been a wonderful friend and mentor. And I'm just really honored to have the chance to try and follow him. He's been, in order, Quintin, he's been president of West Virginia, Ohio State, Brown, Vanderbilt,
yes,
back to Ohio State, and now back to West Virginia. So, like me, he's a native of Utah. He's from Vernal, Utah, which is in the northeast corner of the state. But he's spent more time professionally in West Virginia than any other place. And his line to me is, if you love West Virginians, they will love you back.
Oh, yeah.
I think that probably goes for any place we've lived. If you move into a community and you try your best to become a part of it and to really love the people there, the good things will happen. So that's what I tend to do.
Oh, absolutely. Incidentally, I've been to Vanderbilt 3 times between 2022 and 2023. Love that campus, by the way, and the school itself, along with Coastal, of course. But let me ask you, Dr. Benson, how do you hope to make yourself and your family a part of the West Virginia family?
Well, my wife will stay here for a year with our two youngest children, so Tatum can graduate high school. So I would not be a candidate for Father of the Year if I moved my daughter uh, her senior year in high school. So all three of our children, by the way, are at Myrtle Beach High School this year, which is
Okay.
really fun. I mean,
Yes.
it's been great to see all of them support each other and be active. So, my family is the most important thing to me, and I really hope that when we get there, whether it's sporting events, cultural events, academic events on campus, they'll become part of it. They tell me that West Virginia, it's a relatively small state, only about 1.8 million residents. The largest town is Charleston. Second largest is Morgantown, where the university is. But on a Saturday, when everybody floods into town for football, it becomes the largest city in the entire state. So, the reason I say that, there are chances to get involved on so many different levels, and I think just being at events and participating will have people falling in love with my kids and my wife, especially. By the way, Quintin, people have been very nice to say, "Hey, we'll miss you, but we'll really miss your kids and your wife." so, so I know where I rank in the family.
I completely understand that. Uh, with Dr. Benson, obviously people speak highly of you wherever you go here in the state of South Carolina. What do you think will be your legacy? Describe your time as president at Coastal Carolina University.
Well, I'll circle back to the last question you asked. I think we moved here. We jumped in with both feet. I learned the history. I appreciate the culture that is really unique to Horry County. There are a few families that have been here for a while, but this is a state, this is a part of the state where so many people have come from the outside, and in so many ways have adopted Coastal as their new favorite institution. I'll give you a good example. Bob Beamon, Bob Beamon, a track and field star that set an Olympic record in 1968 that is yet to be broken in the long jump, 29 feet, 2.5 inches. I know that because he signed a golf ball for me, and he wrote the specifics on the golf ball. But Bob was introduced to us through one of our trustees, and he's now adopted Coastal as his school in South Carolina. And he comes to games. He's met with our students. I've had him speak to our board before. He's just a delightful man. He lives down in Murrells Inlet.
Yes.
And, that's an example of people that have come into our community and fallen in love with Coastal and our students. And I really, really love that part of my job. That's been really incredibly rewarding. And, I hope people will look back and say, Mike advocated very strong for the students. He helped get the penny sales tax renewed, which is so incredibly important to our campus. It's in place until 2039. He was active in community events. I'm on the Myrtle Beach Chamber of Commerce. I've been involved with the Red Cross. I've been going to my Rotary Club. So, just things that I've always done throughout my life and career to be a part of the community. I hope people will say, well, he made a difference in a short period of time, and he loved Coastal, and we loved him.
Oh, absolutely. And now, obviously, you're moving over to West Virginia as its next president. So, will you be able to take some people from your staff from Coastal over to West Virginia?
No, I've kind of been told by in no uncertain terms by the board that, hey, we love the team you put together, so keep your hands off of them. So I will obey that directive. They are a terrific team, and there's some wonderful people here, and we will leave them in place. And quite frankly, Quinn, how do you take on a day like today? It'd be tough to say, hey, winters in Morgantown aren't that bad, really. But it's a beautiful. West Virginia's a beautiful state, by the way.
Yes.
My son Truman came in the other day. He said, "Dad, I've been doing a little research. Guess which state in our country has the most forested area?" And I said, I took a guess. I thought like somewhere like Oregon. He said it's Maine, and number 2 is West Virginia. So fall is just one of those seasons where the trees just explode with color, and my wife is really looking forward to that. She loves fall.
Oh, that is really, really amazing. Hopefully, the weather will be ideal for you all for the next couple of years there, and we'll see, God willing. But I know, Dr. Benson, earlier you mentioned about recruiting. How many students do you want to recruit when you get there as president?
So they have currently about 24,000 undergrads, and then there are quite a few that are in the graduate programs I talked about. They're going head to head with big big states with big schools. For example, Pennsylvania is just across the border to the north. Penn State, Temple University, University of Pennsylvania, and then you go to Ohio. The health system that I talked about has hospitals in 4 states: Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. So they're making kind of forays into Ohio, but Ohio has got more public universities maybe than, California and Texas have the most, probably Florida's third. But Ohio's got a ton of them, including really big ones like Ohio State University and Ohio University and Toledo and you name it. So they're going head to head against those states. They're also trying to get more kids from New Jersey, just like we are. The high school population is dwindling in West Virginia because the population is starting to, they need more in migration. So a little sidebar here. This is really interesting. The president of Marshall University has become a very good friend. His name is Brad Smith. He's the retired CEO of Intuit, so the company in Silicon Valley that came up with TurboTax and all that.
Yeah.
Very highly successful career in the high-tech business, and decided he wanted to move back to his hometown of Huntington, and was named the president of Marshall. But he and his wife funded a program called the Ascend program, and they gave a $25 million gift to West Virginia University to begin recruiting young families, couples, individuals to move to West Virginia. They're given a stipend to move to the state. They're given passes to go use the national parks, the state parks, all the recreational opportunities that are in West Virginia, and then kind of put down roots. A lot of these people can work remotely. They're coming from Washington, D.C., or they're coming from Baltimore, or they're coming from Philadelphia. So that program has been hugely successful. So the hope is to attract really young talent to places like Morgantown and Charleston and even Huntington, and try and get people kind of more familiar with all West Virginia has to offer. So, they're trying their best. I don't know if you watched the Super Bowl, but I always pay attention to the ads. And if you remember the Rocket Mortgage ad,
right,
where they sang Country Roads, which of course is probably the most famous state song there is.
Yes.
And then they panned the stadium after, and everybody in the Superdome was singing Country Roads. So, things like that, where you have people associate things like a song or a person or a place with the state, I think is very beneficial and can help us kind of sell students on the university.
Wow. Where do you see that high school population in West Virginia going in the next 5 to 10 years with that initiative that you just mentioned?
Yeah, so in terms of the actual numbers, West Virginia has some of the highest participation rates in high school, and I think the highest graduation rate of the state. But sadly, this is the trend we got to reverse. If you take that high graduation rate, it doesn't translate into college participation. So they choose, for whatever reason, not to go to college. Now, I understand, there are points of entry across a very broad spectrum for students, whether they choose to go to a community college or a technical college or junior college, or if they choose just to go out and get an hourly wage job and do a trade. That's we're all blessed with different talents, and I understand that. But we would like to see more students know about what West Virginia has to offer, see if there's a degree program that is better suited for their abilities and talents. And as you know, your earning potential, if you invest in education, pays dividends in terms of lifetime earnings. So look, there are a lot of people that don't need a degree for a lot of jobs, but they're also in this knowledge economy with so much emphasis on tech, opportunities to invest in yourself, and it'll pay a return. I can promise you that. It certainly has proven that in my own life.
And what type of programs would be ideal to recruit these types of high school students to come to you, West Virginia?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. And we have a lot of programs in place. But one thing we started here, and I credit my wife, the Tech experience, which we'll have next week, this time around, this time for Conway Middle School and also Myrtle Beach Middle School, is to introduce 8th graders to the offerings at the technical college and at a place like Coastal. And we think that program where you get to kids at a much earlier age, because if you wait until they're juniors or seniors in high school, sometimes it's too late. So we want to take that same program to West Virginia. There are 4 middle schools in Morgantown, and get those kids on campus, have them experience everything that the university has to offer. But we're excited to welcome about 300 kids from Myrtle Beach and about 170 from Conway Middle next week. So stay tuned for that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I know that obviously you'll be leaving in the next couple of weeks here. So what's next on your plate as far as, being, president of Coastal Carolina, and what do you want to do exactly next?
Actually, I'll be here through the end of June.
Oh,
because I really wanted to finish out
yes, yes,
the fiscal year, the academic year.
yes, sir.
I love graduation, and I love shaking hands of all those students that come across the stage. So we'll stay until, I hope, my successor is named. So today we have the search firm that is helping our board kind of with that process. They're doing listening sessions on campus to elicit from our campus community thoughts about who they would like or what qualities they would like in a new president. So I'm really hopeful I can help with the onboarding process of whoever he or she might be. So it's it'll only be the 4th president in our history. So it's a great job. I would argue it's one of the best jobs in America, and I'll do everything I can to help find a successor.
Oh, absolutely. Can't wait for that. Well, Coastal Carolina University President Dr. Micheal Benson, thank you for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Post-Ups, and good luck to you in West Virginia.
Quintin, you're awesome. I really love your programming. You're so outgoing and so engaging, and you do a wonderful service for our entire community. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it greatly.